So in our last class, we learned about prototyping. We learned about what a prototype is. We learned how to link screens, how to prototype screens. We also had how to like build our first flow. Then we also talk about what testing is and how you can go about it and gather your feedback. So today we'll be talking about a handoff, how you can successfully hand off your project to the developer for the next things to do. So before I continue, someone sent a prototype to the group, Daniel. So let me share my screen. Let's see what he need. So this is what Daniel made, an onboarding prototype. Click on this, transitions to the next page, transitions to the next page, transitions to the next page. You can decide to either sign in or sign up, create an account. Either of the two, you sign in, you click on sign in, and then it takes you to this page. Delays for a few seconds, and then it goes back. This captures, like, basically everything we talked about in the last meeting. This is great. This is nice. I like it. Well done, Daniel. So yeah, today, okay. So today let's move on to what we call um handoff. And before we continue, is there anybody that has maybe questions from the last class or anything that needs to be addressed, so we can quickly talk about that before we move into this um new new phase? Yes, please.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good
So my
evening.
question is, sorry, my question is, um, if if you want to create a sign in and the person writes their name there, how like I don't know how to do that. How can someone do it? Like when you click on or write your name, your phone name, your email, and yes, so I think that's the only thing I'm having problem doing.
So if you want people to be able to, you want to be able to have like input field, yeah.
Yes, input field. Yes, because I've done it already. I've designed the app already. It's just the input field that is my problem now.
Okay. Um, that is not exactly possible, but there is a workaround for that. How can Let me share my screen so I can share it with you. I'm still going to be using this class. Okay. So we have this. We have this. Okay. Now, on prototype, pages are not the only thing that are being prototyped. Elements are also being prototyped. So for instance, now this is a input field. This whole box is an input field. So for the sake of this, let me just use only this. Okay, so input field here, and then You can see enter email address. Then give this a faded color. This can serve as the default state and then the state where it is being clicked. So now I believe we know what components are. If we know, let's just like react. So I know that we are following. Okay, so we know what components are. Now we just need to rename these fields. Input field, we give it an identifier. We see this is default. We say input field slash default. When you zoom into this, you will see input field default. That was what I named it with. Then the second field, that's the one that is being clicked, we can name it on click. So these two different stuffs here, they give complete difference to the type of input fields, and also you as a designer, you're not confused. Also the components to know what's going on. So you just come to the right side here, click on this component, this drop down beside the component icon, then you click on create component set. Now when you click on that, you'll be able to see that this input field, there's a variant here which is default, and there's a variant here which is on click. Then you move to your prototype. You can move to your prototype, click on this, then draw it to the next input field and say when the trigger is being untapped, it should change this current input field into, you know, into the second one, which is on click, the on click button. So just like the prototype pages, to go to the next page, click this, go to the next page, then you same thing is done here. Action change to, instead of navigate to is for pages, change to is for elements and components, change to, then the next the variant, this on click variant, and then you can take it one step further to still drag it back, drag the other variants back to the top, that oh, when it pop out of it, it should, do the same. So let's change the animation to smart animate. So we have pretty nice animations. So on the design, let me take this out. On the design, I'm just going to copy, I can go through the right route of coming through asset, clicking on this and then dragging this out. Or I can be very lazy and just click on one of the components here and copy it, then come into the design here and paste it here. So we have this off. Now you can do this for many other stuffs in here, even up to your password field, active field, and we are also going to like discuss about those different states too in this class tonight. So I click on my frame. Let's preview it inside here. It's loading, it's loading, it's loading. Okay, so when you are here, you can just softly click on this enter email address, and then it changes to the second state, that's the active state, and you can then just also click it back for it to remain, default as it is. So you can also go one step further and create a new page, add a typing keyboard, make a keyboard, then navigate it to the next page so it gives that typing illusion. But this is still like the best way to like show it so you don't waste much pages when you're designing and you don't waste much time when you're sorting out your stuff. These components too can also serve as a very handoff material for the developers so they know what this looks like before, what an input field looks like by default, and when it's what it looks like when it's being clicked. So you can also decide to like say, okay, as it's clicked like this, you want to add maybe a little nice effect to your a little nice effect to your design. Maybe when the design is clicked, what is it going to show? How is it going to show that oh something is being clicked? So you can have a nice shadow here, and when you click on it, it gives that typing illusion. And when the user is done, you can decide to like add another state for done, remove your effects, come to the prototype, and also like say that you remove the one that go back up here, put it down to the like done state, and then this one, is already done automatically. So then to go back to the default state, so you can come here. Okay, so it's on default. You click on it, goes to typing, click on it again, goes to done. Click on it again, goes back to the first state. So that's how you do something like that. It's prototyping. Are you clear now?
Oh yes, I am. Thank you very much. Thanks for the
Yeah.
explanation.
Welcome. Okay, so moving on quickly, we'll talk about handoff today. Yeah. So what do we call an handoff? An handoff is when you have finished designing, your design is perfect, you've gotten all your feedbacks, everything is done, everything is sorted. But now a developer now needs to take over it. So during this stage, two things happen. You can decide to be close friends with your developer, whereas your developer is working in the night, beeps you, oh, I don't understand what happens in this place. Can you quickly explain to me? And then you jump on a call, have a conversation, you get it sorted, you keep doing that, but that's not how it's supposed to be done. It's very stressful that way. And also, if you are working with large organizations, or you have let's say you are being contracted, and then your contract, you know, you are done with your contract, and then you have to move on. There is no luxury of the developer reaching out to you. And also, there's no way of contact, because now the developer is there to figure out everything on their own. That can be stressful if you are not doing handover higher. So you are not doing handoff in a correct manner. So before you hand off to a developer, you need to check some certain things. That's number one. Can somebody else read my layers? Can somebody else read what's happening in my design? Let me share my screen. Let me pull up something. Can somebody else see what's happening in my design? So let's say, for instance, um, I did this. Now, just imagine that instead of having something like splash screen here, number one, number two, number three, or having a page for create accounts, enter code, just imagine oh, I'm not sharing the tab. So just imagine how different the case will be if all these are not properly named. So you need to ask yourself that, oh, can somebody go through this and understand what I'm doing, what is on this design? A very good example of that scattered stuff is going to be this. Now, I just named this frame, I just named this frame 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all of that. So when you're coming and you're reading the frames, you don't really know what's going on over here. So the first things you need to do is to make sure that you name your frames, you name them very well. Let me try to see and look through my Figma if I have something that messy. So moving on, number two, you need to ask yourself that, oh, is my inspection panel, is it accurate? An inspection panel is what developers use to make their work easier when they are trying to, implement. So a developer now is not coming to this design page. They are seeing something like this. They are seeing a page like this. So this is called the dev tool page. They are seeing a page like this. So the a developer now sees that, oh, this is, the size of your design. They basically see a translation of your design with code. So they are very good at seeing your spaces. For instance, now they can say that, oh, your spacing is, you know 16 years, 15 years, 16 year. If your spacing is scattered and tattered, they are always going to see it here. If you are having a case of maybe this is different from this and all of that, they are seeing all of those things here. They are seeing your spacing, seeing the color of your buttons. They are basically seeing, what makes up your design, but in code. They are seeing it. So they are reading your design like a blueprint, like an architectural blueprint. So you need to make sure that all these things, all your design is properly done, your design is properly aligned, your spacings are correct. You need to make sure all of these things are very perfect. Then the next thing is asset management. Asset management is basically the icons that you are using, the illustrations that you are using, the images that you are using. For instance, now I can hand over this part of the design. I can hand over this part of the design to a developer, this page to a developer. And how do I expect my developer to export the image in the background? He's not a designer, he doesn't know what to do. So how do I expect him to handle it? Then also icons too. This here is an icon. How can I explain to him, or how can he get these icons? There are two ways these are being done. A developer can decide to like export this manually, but it's very strange to do that because now we have icon packs, we have a lot of things, icon libraries. So we just expect the developer to pick one that works and then go with it. So you need to specify that, oh, I'm using an icon pack for this project. For instance, now the one I used for that design is called phosphor icons. So as I'm wrapping up with designs, I also need to make a subtle documentation of, oh, this is the icon pack I'm using and all of that. So a clear communication with developers for you to be sure that, oh, this icon pack, they can actually use it in the project. Is it a web project? Is it a mobile app project? They need to be able to use it to fit their own programming language. So this is the icon pack I use, phosphor icons. You can, as you can see here, there are a lot. So you can click on one, and then you can decide to like, the developer can decide to like, see it in their own like language, in their own development language. So they can also decide to copy the SVG instead of downloading the icons one by one. This is much easier for them. We also have material icons, we have lucide icons. There are a lot of icon packs, remix icon, any one that fits into the project that you are using that you used. You need to communicate it ahead that, oh, this is what I used, so that the developer will be able to like, pick. the icons from here and continue. Same with the images too. You need to be able to have it on your I am at the back of your mind that, oh, this is just what my developer needs. So you can just export this image for your developer, and then you let them know that, oh, you know, you let them know that, oh, this is the image that I used here. So you can easily send this across, maybe put it into a drive link, a folder, all of these things for them to know. So the next one is, have I written notes? Like if you have written notes or anything that is not obvious in your design, you need to be able to explain it to them. For example, uh, can I use, or can I use, or can I use, or can I use? I'm coming. I'm trying to see. Let me try to look through this design and see maybe there is anything. Mm, I'm trying to. Okay, let's say. Let me use a different example. Let's say, for instance, let me use let me use this one. Let me use this. Okay, very good. So let's use this for example now. You know, let's say you have two two stuffs here in your design, and then this button is disabled. Let's say this button is disabled, and these two active. I turned it off. Um, let's say sorry. Okay, so now you have this, and then you have this. Um, Now, by default, you would expect your developer to know that, oh, or maybe let's say the idea is that you expect that when all these informations here are being filled, this is when this button becomes active. Yeah. But your developer might not really grab that. So there's something called there's something that's why notes are important, where you come here, maybe underneath here, you just write something that the button stays disabled until user inputs let me zoom in very well, until user inputs their first input their name and their username. So you can, this is still a little blank. You can just give it a little life. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You can turn this to in notes. I just did auto layout 0. Then I can put this maybe beside it, maybe on top of the page, the button on this page. So I can put this on top of the page and also decide to like draw an arrow over here. So sorry, draw an arrow over here. Um, make it very thick. Okay, it's too much. So I can even group this, in fact, then have this on this page here. Now you are not just designing and just giving two states. You are explaining to your developer that, oh, the button on this page stays disabled. So if they know how to write their logic, that if the user does not input the name and their username, this is even clearly optional. And I know if the information is not being filled, doesn't change. This button doesn't change. So now they are not reaching out to you to explain that to you. Also, this is not something that is like rocket science. You expect them to know, but they might not fully grab it. So that's why it's important that even in your handoff process, you are writing all these little notes for them. You can also take it as like a step further. You can duplicate this. Um, so I'm duplicating this here. Then let me flip this. Let me flip this. You can also say like over here that after the information is let me just say after the information is complete and user clicks continue continue button, the loading icon appears while details are being validated. Let's just leave it like this. So now you're now telling them that, oh, after the user has clicked the information, after this continue button, let's say for instance now in real time, user has clicked the information, this button is active, they now click the continue button, then you need to let the developers know that this icon, the loading icon, is only coming up after the information has been completed. So please give me a minute.
Fine.
Hello,
Okay.
guys. Okay.
No, sorry. So I stopped at yeah. So now you can decide to tell again. You're now telling your developer that after the icon is after the button is being clicked, that's when this icon comes up. So they know that, oh, in their development on clicking on this button, I should write the code for this to show, because by default, originally, if you're not telling them that, a developer is trust the developer to like just add exactly what it says here without any confirmation, validation, or anything. So these notes too are important and they span across a lot of things. You can also like take it a step further to say that, oh, on this monogram part, on this part of the design, you can just write it here that, oh, when user clicks on monogram, randomly randomly generates a monogram with the first letters of their name. Colors will be by random. You can even tell them that, oh, maybe Google contact card style, Google or Apple contacts style. So The developer now knows that, oh, when they click monogram, nothing is supposed to happen. What is supposed to happen here is I generate something like this. We all know how that Google card contact is when you save somebody as, you know, John Doe, and then their initials JD with the random color background, all of these things. So these notes too are important. The things that your prototype can't say, your notes will be able to say them, so that your developer will not have, you know, problems trying to understand what is on your design. So the next thing that you need to like think about now is, have I designed for every state? So now you need to design for every state, every element, every version. For instance, let's take buttons for example. When you want to design for buttons, oh, if an input, this input field here is even a good example. We have an input field, the state for when is default, the state for when is clicked, the state on when, you know, they are done. We can even change this on clicks to like typing, so it feels more explanatory. Also, like for the buttons, you can decide to like, you need to sorry, not decide, you need to design states for when the button is active. Okay, you can say button slash active. Um, then let me just make this a component straight up. Then add a variant active. So what should I call this next? Let me see when is when is being over when the button is being overed on, maybe it's a web part or something, a web version or something. For web, you can use over, because on mobile, you're not hovering on anything, you're like pressing it. So you can change this to like pressed on mobile. Then you have another state for disabled. You have another state for error and error button. What other state again? We have one, let's have one for loading. Um, what else? Okay, so then we now start. Okay, this is pressed here. So I wonder what this can feel like. Okay, so let's have an inner shadow for this pressed. Let's have a white inner shadow for this pressed. -4. So we have this. The developers know that, oh, this is when the button is pressed. When the button is disabled, this is when the button is disabled. Or instead of reducing the opacity, better still, let's just make it gray. Then when this button is an error button, let me see if I have a red variant. If not, let me just use the color red. Or for the sake of this, let's just leave it like this. Or let me darken it a bit. Then this is loading. Okay, I can decide to like copy this icon from one of the designs here, and just change this to, just add it here. Yeah. So now the developer now has a very good idea of what a button looks like, because day two in development, we have what we call components here. Now a developer can just decide to will decide to like code out these different components, these different states. So you're not leaving a developer out. You're not leaving out the developer. Let's even add a new state for, let's say that for me. You can have a different state for like an outline button, when the version of that button is outlined. So you can also have an outlined version of the button. Let's change this. Okay. Let me remove the color in here. So yeah, so developer knows that, oh, this is, different states for the buttons. Also now let's even move to passwords here, because this is interesting. For the password field, we have a a time where the password itself is just a normal, it's just a normal field. So we need to cater for that too. Let's say for instance, let's just okay, let's do it this way. Let me ungroup this yet. Let me put the password guide inside this. So I name this as password default, the default version of the password field. Then over here we can decide to let's reuse text so we don't waste time. Enter password. Then okay, let's say this is like type typing. Then also by default we expect that this text they are not you know these validations, these password guides validations, they need to let me change the color of this so we'll be able to see them. Let me change the color of the board so we'll be able to see them well. So also let's take out this part, then typing. Okay, so for cases where you can also name this one type of, let's say password is typing, or let's have password validated. When the password is being validated, you can decide to like have this. So now you are letting your developer know the different states of passwords field so that the developer is not confused when they are writing the logic for the authentication part of that design. You can also have when a password is being like open. Now that we can't even see what is inside the password, so let's say open. Let me look for an icon to replace that with. Um, I okay, I got one. Okay, so 20. So your developer knows what it's like when a user's password is being like viewed. So we can even take it a step further when one of the fields are not correct. When one of the fields are not correct, you can also like take it a step further. Close. So, okay. Sorry. So now when the password is like being imputed but it doesn't have a symbol or a like case letter and all of that, we can also like decide to take it to one step further. And okay, we already have the validated part. So you can put all of this into a component, put it into a component set. And now your developer now knows that, oh, this is what an input field looks like. This is what a password field looks like. And then you can now decide to like input just one of these into your design. So you can decide to like put one of these into your design. I made a mistake. Okay, so you can decide to input one of these into your design. So now your developer is not, is not confused on what this is not confused on the different states of elements. So this is not only limited to like intuit field, this to a lot of stuff, even up to this picture part. Okay, you have states for what happens when the picture is not verified, what happens when it's just a normal picture, what happens when something is not clicked yet, what happens when something is being clicked. You need to be very descriptive for that state. So if you can like answer yes to all of those five stuff's being raised. So that means that you are ready to hand off your designs. So you go over it again. You properly named your layers. Your design is being accurate. You inspect your design to say that oh, it's balanced. Your icons are properly documented. Your images too, they are properly like exported. You've had annotations for like behaviors that are not really obvious, things that are not really obvious, but they are important. You've already had notes for them and you designed for every state. So if you are able to put those things together, like, put all of those together to be sure that, oh, this design is complete, then you can now hand over. So that way, your developer is very sure that, oh, I don't need to reach out to this person again. I just need to just do my stuff, whatever the design is complete and all of that. So that's how a proper handover session is being done. So for this you guys notice I shared this. This is not this is also part of like an handover process, but it's more of like a report like because we are not talking about behaviors here. This is just more like oh describing. So there are times when we are writing a let's say for instance now our next session will be based off on case studies. So before then sorry portfolio and case study. So before then let me just show you this. So where you present your designs and you are being descriptive with what you designed, so you know that oh, this part is designed, this is why I designed this. For instance now this is like a teacher stuff. You can say oh, teacher's name is being paired with child's name, so it's does this and this. This is more like a report and not more like a handoff. You get what we did in this place was is being called an handoff, a notes process, and what is being here is a report or like description type of stuff. So we'll be dealing with that in our next session. So yeah. Do we have any questions or anything we are not clear about? So floor is to anybody. Okay, yes. Yes.
Okay, so I want to be sure about something. What you just did right now is when you're done designing and you're done with everything, this is the developer's page and they're like what's your developer should know and it's not what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Start writing things down for you to be done.
Sorry, please.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
I said, okay, you just start writing things down for your developer. This is something that I did here and everything.
Yes, when you are done, when you are sure that your design is completed, then you start doing that. And you can also do it. I think the best thing to do is not to do it when you are done, but to do it when like as you progress in your design. Just make those notes, do those states, so everything will be complete. And one thing that this does is to eliminate the other issues that people are going to raise when they look through your design, because as you are designing and dropping the notes, your subconscious also like drops in things that needs to be done that you might have skipped in the design. So it's important that you do it like when as you're designing, you do it, not like when you are done. Let's just say not when you are done, when you are like designing. So you might have finished designing a full authentication flow, then you go into like noting it. And in that process, you might see things that you have not done, or like take note of things that should have been done better and just fix it. I think if you have to like do everything before you now start doing this, might be strenuous work. So let me just say, just do it when you are, you know, when you are designing. So it's very easy for you that way.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other question?
My second question would be that, okay, when you are done with your prototyping, how do you export it for people to for you to get feedback?
For you to export your prototype,
Yes. I don't
you
know if
just
you get.
to you just need to view your prototype, then share the link, just like Daniel did in the group.
Yes.
Yeah, just click on the view prototype, that play button. Then after it finish loading, you can be able to like share your prototype just the same way you like share your design. Just share your prototype so people can just look through it. So
So we
you
have to share
you are viewing
prototype.
the prototype,
Yeah, I
so
understand.
you just click on share prototype, and then when you are sharing prototype, you need to make sure that you set it to anybody can access it. I'm currently on the Teams app, so this is more of like, let me use this, but just make sure that this is being checked. You are sharing a prototype, everybody can everybody can see. So we don't have, people don't always reach out back to you that, oh, I just requested access for this, I just requested access for that. Oh, I stopped sharing my screen. So yeah, you click on share prototype. Yeah, this is on the team file. But you just make sure that this who can access, yeah, anyone can access. You just need to like make sure of that. So yeah, that's how it's done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, guys? Please, if you still have question, you can unmute your mic and ask while our mentor is still on the call. Does any other person have a question? I think Daniel, you're trying to speak. Okay, you can go ahead, Etido.
Okay, good evening. Please, when you create components and styles on a particular page while designing and save them, if you open a new page for a design, the other component and styles that was saved while working on the former page, will it still be saved on Figma, or
Um,
it will just be for the other page?
do you mean that the components that are created in this page, if I
Yes.
open another page just like
Ye-
this,
Yes, if you open another page to work.
okay, you open another page to work. So the thing is here, the since it's on the same file, all your components are still there. You just need to, on the new page, just come over to these assets. When you click on assets, you can see that, oh, you've created some components in this file. So you click on this, then you can bring out your components. You see all the components that we've created here, just three of them. You can just drag them out here, drag them out here, drag them out here, and you have those components. They are same on the design, on the same, still on the same file. So even if you open another new page to design, just come through the assets, scroll through the components, you'll find what you're looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Daniel.
All right, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good evening.
All right. Please, can you demonstrate how the transition from uh, the locked eye to open eye goes? Because when I was replicating that my own design, I actually thought about it, but I didn't find a way to do it. So can you please demonstrate how it works? Like, what exactly are you prototyping to, like, once you click on something to make sure the password actually opens in the effect. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, so it's still pretty much same thing that we've been doing over here. Let me just use this image feed as an example. So I've copied that eye icon. Yeah, I pasted it here. Let me paste it here. Um, let's see. This is for password. Yeah. Then come here. Password is another thing is, well, just let's just do our stuff. Then okay, this is when the state that the password is being opened, and for the state that where the password is being closed. Let me just copy these two things here and then paste it over here. So what you are doing is simple. Let me delete all of this. What you are doing is simple. You click on this eye icon. Let's say this is okay. You click on this whole box to actually view what your password is like. You click on it on tab, change to typing, then let's smart animate it. Then yeah. Then now you can now come here to this eye icon and prototype it here. Then same thing with this eye icon to prototype it here. And we can do the whole box for it to go back to, let's say, this place. Let's just use this. Don't let me use this faded this thing. Then let me take this part into my design. Let me take this part into my design. So when we preview this, now when I click on, okay, something is, oh, I was doing the wrong thing. I was looking at the wrong field. So let me just adjust it. I was thinking, why isn't it working? Okay, so this is where we have the input field. Let me use the password field so it's more easy for us to like see. This is so stressing. So let's just use this, sorry, because of our time. So this password, you have the password field here. You can click on this and then it shows you where you are typing. Yeah. So you click on the eye icon and then it shows that, oh, not this thing is closed. You click on it to open, you click on it to close. Note that we are only clicking on this eye icon to close and open. So if you now click on the whole box as a whole, it takes you back to this password stuff. Then you can decide to start again. Click on it to open, click on it, it's closed, Then you can decide to like, so just it's very simple. When you have your stuff, just prototype your fields normally, then you prototype these eye icons. Remember, I said that it's not only pages that can be prototyped, elements can be prototyped, anything can be like prototyped too. So yeah. Do you get it
Thank
now?
you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So is there any other question?
Okay, I think there is no other question. Thank you so much, Mr. Paris, for such an insightful, and practical session we've had with you tonight. And I know that every one of us on this call, even me in particular, we've learned one or two things. And thank you so much. We really appreciate. And guys, we have one more class with Mr. Praise before we move on to the project phase. And like I always say, I encourage us to keep on practicing and always go to YouTube and work and try your hands on everything you've been learning so far. Because basically, that's how you become a good designer. And I mean, our WhatsApp group, the group that we specifically created for this program, is open for you to always send in your work and ask for review and all of that. Um, for those of us that have been consistent in this class, I commend you and I also encourage you to keep up because we still have lots and much more to cover. So I think with that, we can call it a night. Good night, everybody, and do have a wonderful night rest.